This is Appalling News, your most trusted source for fake real news. I'm Paul Chatto. The top news item, Donald Trump, the one-man wrecking crew. What he's been wrecking mostly has been the minds of leftists who are self-destructing on social media to the entertainment of everyone. And most recently, we were witness to this frightening scene of genuinely joyous young girls and women surrounding and cheering the Grandpa-in-Chief as he signed an executive order banning trans-identifying men from participating in girls' and women's sports. We are shocked that supporting the wishes of the majority rather than bending the knee to victimhood culture could elicit such a positive outpouring, guaranteeing that young girls will no longer fear seeing a dangling participle in their change rooms goes against everything the Goodness and Kindness Brigade kept screeching at us about, with Democrats still dumbfounded as to how they lost the election. Just compare these sad excuses for women to this fine specimen protesting Trump's executive order.
All right, guys. I'm getting ready to go to the 50 states, 50 protests today. So if any of you are in Wisconsin, head to the Capitol today. And if any of you, any states, these are happening across all 50 states today, head to your capital and protest. Let our voices be heard and be safe.
Clearly, Trump is on the wrong side of history. There are many people commenting that this affects less than 1% of student athletes. Why are transphobes making such a big deal of it? That's because you 1% chose to affect 100% of girl athletes. You narcissists only have yourselves to blame. Still, just compare this tableau to this heroic collection of scholars and Ontario politicians surrounded herself with. We dare you to pick the more inspirational event. Continuing with lefty freakoutville, Democrats are screaming that Elon Musk's Doge squad are running rampant in the offices of the United States Agency for International Development without oversight, while not telling the public that entrenched bureaucrats have been funneling massive sums of money to their ridiculous pet projects with no oversight. Do two no oversights make a right oversight? Some examples include $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for the production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala. Pretty outrageous. But Canada says, America, hold my better beer. Canada's version of USAID is called Global Affairs Canada, or Affaires Mondiales Canada. And apart from the usual outrageous handouts like $360 million for global efforts to eliminate malnutrition when Canada is already $1.2 trillion in debt, there are these beaux mots, which means witty remarks in French. It turns out global affairs is ultra-woke, obsessed with microaggressions, race, and ambient bigotry, whatever that means. Here we spent nearly $4 million integrating gender equality into Lebanese institutions, which we assume were mostly shawarma and falafel joints. Apparently, the results were achieved. 7 people, 5 women, 2 men, participated in a gender and humanitarian action regional training of trainers. This training allowed the creation of a pool of certified local trainers that can transfer knowledge and skills to the Lebanon Crisis Response Plan, LCRP implementing partners. It also allowed for the strengthening of gender mainstreaming efforts across Lebanon's humanitarian and stabilization response, conducted 39 capacity building and mentoring sessions to strengthen gender mainstreaming and analysis capacities. The sessions reached a total of 756 LCRP staff members, 572 women, 182 men, and 2 gender-fluid individuals. That sounds as useful as picking leeches off of Lizzo's ass. But what a rousing success, except the feds are not tracking progress of billion in foreign aid for gender projects, a report revealed. And there were no measures put in place to track where the funding was going. What a shock. Luckily, Canada has been implementing a feminist foreign policy since 2016.
As for Canada, it has been implementing a feminist foreign policy since 2016. Canada's feminist foreign policy seeks to be inclusive, intersectional, transformative, and grounded in human rights. It takes into account the diverse experiences of women, men, and non-binary people.
You just know, when this speaker leaves the room, everyone howls with laughter at us. And how about this last one? Government won't say how many sex toy exhibits were funded abroad. Maybe ask this gang. And let us leave you with a couple of quick earth-shaking news items. Speaking of earth-shaking, Democrat influencer Olivia Juliana claims she has lost 50 pounds because she can't afford to eat in Trump's economy. We think Olivia should actually be thanking Trump for helping her to find a healthier countenance. Though, if you compare this to an earlier picture, she's not can't affording to eat hard enough. And finally, you got to feel sorry for this person.
So my date just canceled on me. We were having a great time, but then he said something really crazy. He told me, hey, I really like you and I want to take you out to dinner, but I just can't get over the fact that you have balls, so let's just cancel the date. Would that be a deal breaker for you? Really? Having balls? Leave a comment down below.
Yes, finding out my date is packing a sack of marbles would be off-putting. As far as leaving a comment down below, didn't your date leave a comment about what was down below? As we always say here at Appalling News, men make the best women. This is Appalling News, and that's the way it is.